So, Assalamu alaikum, brothers. Thanks for joining today.
No problem.
Good to have you on the call. We've got, first of all, Sonny Bill Williams, two-time World Cup winner, and currently at the Toronto Wolfpack. Yeah, Sonny?
Assalamu alaikum.
Adil Rashid, England cricketer, another World Cup winner.
Assalamu alaikum.
And Muhamed Besic of Sheffield United and Bosnia International.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thanks for joining, guys. First of all, Sonny, I'll come to you. England beat your country, New Zealand, in the Cricket World Cup last year. So if you want to say anything to Adil right off, you can go ahead.
How much did you pay the ref, brother?
Free.
Alhamdulillah. Mabruk, brother, Mabruk. I remember we were training with the All Blacks that day, and it was on edge. Everyone was on edge, and unfortunately we didn't win. But I was happy that there was a couple of brothers. There's a couple of brothers in the team, or was it just you, Habibi?
There's me and there's another brother as well. There's two of us. Yeah. So
as a Muslim sportsman, you know how it is. We support each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Jazakallah.
Mo, have you ever watched any cricket?
Brother, to be fair, never watched a match.
Have you heard of cricket?
No, I heard because I have a lot of Pakistan brothers, and so they always tell me about this. But to be fair, I never watched it by myself.
No, it's fine. That's fine.
Sorry, brother. Sorry.
No, you must be busy anyway playing football. So, yeah.
Adil, you have to take him to a game.
Hopefully, inshallah, when all this thing blows over, but
inshallah.
Anyway, it'll be Manchester.
Inshallah. Okay, inshallah, brother. I would love to.
Inshallah.
So, just Sonny, starting with you, how have you been coping with lockdown, and how have you been spending your time?
Yeah, it's obviously different times, but for myself, I've just had to adapt. I love, the positives. I always try and look at the glass half full, have that glass half full mentality, and the positives for myself of being able to spend a lot of time with my family at home. And alhamdulillah, it's Ramadan, so I guess the last few years when it comes to Ramadan, I've had to go to training, had to venture out of the household. Obviously, it's still a special time, but this year it just makes it that much more special being able to, be at home every night, be at home during the day with the kids, and doing tarawih prayer with the wife is a bit different. So yeah, on that aspect, I'm really enjoying it. But I guess on the other side, I'm missing going to the masjid, and being with the brothers and doing tarawih with the boys and seeing family. So it's probably just like the other brothers.
Yeah, I do.
No, definitely. This Ramadan obviously is different, completely different. Like I said, myself, past 10, 15 years, every Ramadan, we've been away playing sports, playing cricket, training, always on the go, So there's, you make excuses. But, this Ramadan, there's no excuses to keep all the 30 fasts, to read, to educate ourselves, to learn a lot more, maybe learn Arabic. There's a lot of things we can do in this time. So, this has been a blessing, like you say, in disguise that, it's happened now in Ramadan, gives us the opportunity to actually spend time with family, with the kids, learn about religion, learn more, and just generally, enjoy your time. I know you can look at it in a different way as well, how the world's working, but it is what it is. As Muslims, we accept, whatever it is, it's written, it's from Allah, but, we can't complain. We got to think positive, and hopefully, like you say, inshallah, things here will blow over. But, I'm enjoying it, but it's like you say, it's still something that, as a passion support, we love our sport, cricket, rugby, football, we want to play. But for this meantime, we're just enjoying being home, and I'm sure when the time comes, we'll be ready to go. But, for now, alhamdulillah, we're in Ramzan, it's home, and we're enjoying it.
Mo, are you glad to be spending more time with the family, or do you just want to escape and sort of stay away?
No, brother. I think Sonny and Adil said it already. There's not much to say. Like, even me, I had 2 weeks ago a boy, alhamdulillah, so he was born even.
MashaAllah.
Thank you, brother. And I was like, I could spend with the time with my family and all this. So alhamdulillah was really good. Like the brother said, we still missed the mosque, the Tarawih namaz, probably all of you. I could imagine. And yeah, but inshallah, let's just go through this time, and inshallah, we can go soon to the mosque again.
Adil, if I come to you, you throw it to other guys. Have you learned any new skills while in lockdown? Have you been doing any cooking or anything like that?
Well, cook. I'm not really one to cook, I leave that to the wife, like you say. But no, I try help out. But it's more so just general lifestyle, because you spend a lot of time. So it's been 2-3 months you spend at home. You, like you say, with your kids, you might want to learn stuff with your kids. Start teaching them a few things. You pick up a few things, spending more time, becoming a father, teaching them the ropes. Because, a lot of the times we're on the road, we're playing our sports, so we don't see our kids for months and months. So, this time, like I say, is vital, staying at home, but, developing that connection again with your kids and into Islam as well. So for me, it's not about cooking and stuff. I leave that generally to the people in the house who know best. I'll help out here and there, but, but we're just really enjoying it.
Sonny?
If you want chocolate chip Anzac biscuits, I'm your man. I have my daughters are 3 and 5, so yeah, I get in the kitchen and do the baking quite a bit with them. But I'm like the brother when it comes to the meals. I leave it to the wife; she knows best, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's been so special in this lockdown, especially with Ramadan, because like the brothers touched on earlier, it's about getting closer to Allah. And alhamdulillah, what a special time and what a blessed opportunity it is to be at home 24/7, read more Quran. For me, I'm blessed. We have a walkway out the back in a big forest where I go with the kids generally most days, and we go for 30-hour, hour and a half walks most days. And subhanAllah, just for myself, when I feel like I'm really connected to Allah and trying my best, I'm in nature and I'm seeing it. And subhanAllah, it makes things so much more beautiful.
Well, out of the 3, you're the one that's back in training, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
How have you found? Has it been the same for you as previous Ramadans? And in training, do you fast? Do you fast during matches, or you abstain and then do them afterwards?
To be fair, brother, I really enjoyed this time home. Like the 2 brothers said before, like I could teach my kids a lot of about Islam and Allah, because they're still young. They are 3 and 5 years old. But yeah, this connection, and also to be fair, I appreciate now the imams as well, because it's a really hard job to be fair, to explain the kids and everything. I think you know what I mean, like. Because to find the right words and everything, but this is teaching me as well to speak more and to even teach my kids about this. And then is the connection even better with my kids. And yeah, and the training, we are just back in Sheffield now. It's not a lot. We still have to keep separate 2 meters. And to be fair, I enjoyed really the time, because we also trained alone home twice a day. And I enjoyed it. I could always take my kids to the forest, like Sonny said, and do my runs there, and then it's just a nice connection with my family, to be fair.
What about you, Adil?
Sorry.
Yeah, what about yourself?
Like the same as the boys said there, it's a great time, like you say, for us to be at home with the kids, spending a lot of time with kids, to teach them, to give them what we know, pass it on to them. And like what Sonny was saying about taking kids for a walk, to the parks and stuff for hours or whatever, it's the same principle, as all of us here, really getting out there, really getting that connection again.
Sonny, you don't usually, previous Ramzan, you'd have been in training. Has this Ramzan been more easier or more difficult?
Yeah, definitely more easier. It's obviously over here with the hours, it's, I'm not used to doing 17-hour days. I've been blessed the last few years back in New Zealand where it's only 11 and 12. But in saying that, being able to schedule the training when I want to has really helped. So, I get up, Sohor, Fajr, read some Quran, and then my wife lets me sleep in for a couple of hours, get up, usually take the kids for a walk, and then just before, around Maghrib time, then I usually start training, and alhamdulillah, it works out quite well. But you know, the funny thing when it comes to fasting and praying, when I first become a Muslim, when I first reverted, subhanallah, I used to get real scientific with it. I got to eat this, got to eat these, got to eat this at this time, and you know, I found that my performances were still like that. The last couple of years, I've just said, alhamdulillah, I'm just gonna strive to get close to Allah and train and do what I can, and not get too scientific with it. And then subhanallah, I played the best footy I played, so.
What foods do you have in Ramzan? Any to change it up?
Oh, to be fair, brother, because maybe you know my story. I had a lot of injuries, and then I start to be a little bit more like vegan food, less meat, less fish, and then to be fair, I have a lot of vegan food now, and also try to eat as less as possible as well.
So you're fasting and not eating even less?
Yeah, I try to, brother, because I tell me.
Yeah, carry on, go on.
Yeah, I just feel like also it's just nice as well, like
Adil, the Pakistani culture has a lot of fried food, samosas and all that. Is that something you tuck into, or you try to stay away from it? Try not to get yourself into trouble.
No. What I like to say, whatever generally is cooked at home, whatever is made at home, whether like you say is the samosas or pakoras, kebabs, rice or whatever it is, generally whatever's made at home, I tend to eat because like I say, after breaking fast, an hour after, I do some training anyway, so it levels itself out. So I'm not really too strict on my diet because I'm keeping fit in terms of running, in terms of doing gym. So I'm not like the boys there, keeping fit because they're gonna be super fit, to play football and play rugby. So cricket's a bit different, but still gotta keep slightly fit.
So, what have you been? The masjids are shut, as you mentioned. What have you been doing, Adil, about Taraweeh prayers? Have you been doing it at home by yourself or with other people in your household?
Well, we've been trying to do, obviously all the mosques are shut in England, so we've been doing it at home. So I've got my older brother as well, so we've been reading, like I said, the namaz and doing Taraweeh at home. So that's to our best ability, and that's all. That's all we can do for now is try that, and hopefully Allah accepts it.
What about yourself, Sonny, regarding Taraweeh?
Yeah, just like Adil says, I've been trying to do it with my wife when young Isa is not occupying her time, but generally, just doing it at home, and trying to pray with the heart, you know what I mean, and trying to get that real connection.
Yeah, brother, the same like the two boys, like just home because like we are on lockdown, so I just do it home by myself.
Yeah, Mo, just carrying on with you. Has this Ramzan made you feel more grateful?
Brother, in a lot of ways, like you appreciate a lot of things, and I get closer to Allah. This is what I feel. Because, I struggled with my iman for a long time. And when I start football and I did tattoos and like Sonny a little bit, I heard a bit of his story. So I feel like Sonny a little bit. And and this one is the first Ramadan where I not miss any day to fast. And alhamdulillah, I feel really, really good for this. And I'm really blessed and also happy that Allah made it for me like this.
So you sort of feel more connection to Allah for this Ramzan.
Exactly. Alhamdulillah, yeah.
Adil, yourself, similar experience or anything?
No, definitely. This Ramzan, like you say, is an eye-opener because this period we're at home, we've got a lot of time at home, so a lot of thinking goes in it. But it's like what the boys said, what Sonny said as well, it's about when we're doing our prayers as well, putting the heart into it a lot more, getting that connection. Because sometimes when we're playing our sports, we're traveling, we're away, we can't get distracted by the game, by thinking about the game. You're traveling here, you're going there, so you're always on the go. So maybe your prayers won't be, you won't concentrate as much. You don't give it as that heart. Whereas, we're home now, we're actually, it's a great time to, every prayer we have, really give it that heart, concentrate. Like I said, like have that quality as, real puts that real quality. So, like I said, this is a blessing, I'm sure, for all of us. Like I said, the main objective for all of us as Muslims is, to get closer to Allah. That's our main aim, and hopefully, inshallah, this time, we'll get us there.
Sonny, what have you learned this Ramzan? Maybe more about Islam or maybe about yourself?
Ooh, I think what I've learned this Ramadan, especially with what's happening in the world today, is that alhamdulillah, we're Muslims. You know what I mean? Alhamdulillah, we're Muslims. And I think it just shows how fragile the society that we live in, the things that have been put in place are compared to Mother Nature. You know what I mean? You know, everything's shut up shop. A lot of people have had to look in the mirror for the first time, and you know, a lot of people are looking in the mirror and thinking, "I don't really know this person or like this person that I'm looking into." And I think for me, what drew me to Islam was you know, being able to look myself in the mirror and say, if you follow this structure, not only are you going to be a better person, a better human, a better father, a better father, a better husband, a better person, you're going to feel that contentment and that solace that your soul yearns for, you know. And subhanAllah, how beautiful is it each year that we get to do Ramadan, because it's like a cleanse, you know. We cleanse our bodies every day through training, this and that, but it's not often do we get a chance to really cleanse our souls. And I feel like that's the beauty of Ramadan. So, you know, just like Adil and Brother Muhammad said, just working, it's a continuous process, you know, working on your faults, but understanding that Allah is all merciful, you know, and He wants us to turn to Him and say, look, you're not perfect. We created mankind weak. So turn to me and ask me for forgiveness, sir. I think that's probably the biggest thing that I'm continually learning each Ramadan.
Sonny, when we spoke in November, the interview you gave to me went viral about how you used to feel hollow, you used to go out and stuff. Just to explain to people, when did you start looking into Islam, and when did you eventually become a Muslim?
Well, I think I'm 34 now. Although I don't look it, I still look quite.
Mashallah, mashallah.
So I've been a Muslim, alhamdulillah, for over 10 years now. And I think I grew up, I didn't grow up in a real strong religious family. I grew up in, all my friends were, you know, Christians, majority Christians, so kind of dabbled in that. But then when I made my debut, I was playing at the top level when I was 18, won a competition, NRL competition, was playing for New Zealand. So I had everything just came like that for me. And I still felt I'd go out with the boys, I'd drink, and you know, I'd womanize, but I'd always feel hollow. It wasn't fulfilling, if you know what I mean. So that kind of got me on a venture where I was, what am I looking for? I'm looking for something. And I think for me, I've always had the growth mindset, you know, like if I'm going to do something, I want to try and do it the best that I can. So obviously I always believed in God. So I said, well, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it the best way I can. And so I studied and I learned this and I learned that, and all roads led to me to Islam, you know. And in the Quran, you know, it's 80% of it has been proven scientifically true, and 20% can never be proven wrong or right. And for me, that was just like, wow, you know, there's so many contradictions in other books that I've read. So that started the path. And then obviously, you know, you learn more and more and more as time progresses.
Mo, what have you learned this Ramadan?
Oh, brother, Sonny is a really great talker. I think he said most of the things, mashallah. And yeah, for me personally, it was the connection to the Quran. To be fair, I was reading a lot, and it's still not finished. So there's still time to read, and this connection was for me the most benefit for myself this Ramadan.
Yeah. In the winter break a few weeks ago, you went for Umrah, didn't you?
Yes, brother. Alhamdulillah.
First time, how was that experience? And now it's usually Kaaba and the Makkah is busiest at this time of the year, but now we see it's completely dead, nobody around. Does it sort of give you a sad feeling inside?
Brother, to be fair, it's very difficult to explain. Like, when I see it the first time the Kaaba, brother, I was like, wow. I lost even my, you know, I wanted to pray, I wanted to make dua, and in the first minute I lost everything what I wanted to ask for Allah. So powerful it was there, you know. my English is not the best, so I can't explain it properly. You get me. So, but it was an unbelievable feeling, and inshallah, people and Muslims can go there and see this and just enjoy it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, what was the trip like for yourself? What did you do? What did you learn?
Like we went to Sheffield United for a trip in the winter break, and asked the coach if I can go just for 1 or 2 days to Mecca and Medina, and Alhamdulillah he let me go there, and yeah, and I learned a lot. First time I saw also the mosque of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and yeah, it was just amazing. I can't even describe it properly.
Sonny, you went last year as well, didn't you? What was your experience like?
Yeah, quite similar to what Muhammad is saying. The first time your eyes lay, your eyes lay on the Kaaba is such an amazing feeling. And yeah, just going to the Prophet's mosque, peace be upon him, doing all of those things, brother. It's a very, very special place to go.
Adil, have you been?
No, I've not been yet. So hopefully, inshallah, I've got intention to go. Like I said, intention was to go as soon as possible. So hopefully, inshallah, if it's possible this year, but I reckon that might be a bit tricky. So hopefully, inshallah, next year might be my intention. So hopefully, Allah make it easy for me. Yeah.
Ameen.
Sonny, you sorted, yeah?
Was that, brother?
You sorted, yeah? You're moving your camera. Is that okay now? You just cut off.
Oh, sorry, bro. No. I was just trying to put the charger on.
Stop moving, man. Stop moving, Sonny, man.
Sorry, brothers.
All right. Continue on a little bit on Ramadan. Mo, what do your teammates think about your fasting and your beliefs? Are they accommodating? Do they ask questions? Are they intrigued about it?
Brother, to be fair now, like I said, this is my first or second proper Ramadan that I do, and so because of this situation, so I didn't have contact to a lot of people. But yeah, I went into Sheffield 2 times, and they're like, wow, how can you do this and stuff like this. So they don't ask too many questions, to be fair now, but inshallah, one day they will do.
Yeah, Adil, there's 2 of you in the England dressing room, you and Moeen Ali. What's your experiences of being in that dressing room, and as Muslims, what the teammates feel about that?
Alhamdulillah, since 2015, that's when we all got together, as in like when me and Moeen came into the fold and started playing. It was a bit different then. They didn't know much about, I'll say, Islam, or how me and Mo worked, in the sense of being around, like I said, no alcohol. We don't want to be around this type of, area like this. But as time went on, they understood about Islam, and they were really respectful. So like now the dressing room, alhamdulillah, is so good. Like every time, whenever we win a series, before doing the champagne or before spraying all the alcohol, they respect us lot to be in there, take the picture, we move away to the side, then they spray the champagne. So they understand that. They understand also when we read our salah, namaz, we go in a quiet corner, read, they don't disturb, this walking past as if things are normal. They respect, alhamdulillah, a lot, and they also ask a lot of questions as well. They tend to ask a lot of questions about Islam, which is a positive thing for us lot, because that's our job as well, is to give dawah in any way possible. Like I say, whether it's verbally, physically, by our manners, or with the beard, or anything it is, that's our job. And, at the moment, like I say, in the dressing room, they understand Islam, and they're respectful massively. So it's a good sign.
You mentioned dawah there, which means like invitation to Islam. There was a great moment of dawah from Owen Morgan after you won the World Cup, where he said he had a chat with you, and you said Allah was with you. How sort of amazing a moment was that, do you feel?
Obviously, at that time, I just said it to the captain on the pitch. We were just having a conversation. He asked me what he reckoned. I said, don't worry, Allah is with us. For him to remember that in a press conference after we won the World Cup, a massive thing for him to remember. It's a big thing for him. Like I say, it's gone worldwide. It went international. It went viral. So people then started listening to, what is this? So like I said, the people who are interested, they will go into Islam a lot more, just purely because of what he has said. So like I say, my intention there was just purely at that time was to say, you know, it's in Allah's hands. But then for him to actually go and say it to the world, you know, it's a big thing, especially for an Irishman, a non-Muslim representing Islam. It's a massive thing, and you know, he gets a lot of respect for that. You know, with the Muslim people and the non-Muslim people as well. So big thanks there.
Yeah. Sonny, you're not the only Muslim in the Toronto team as well, are you? There's Brother Hakeem Miloudi with you. Has that made it easier for you to settle in? And does it help having another Muslim in the team?
Yeah, of course. For so many years, I've had, you know, I've been plugging away by myself as a Muslim in most teams. But yeah, it was awesome to hear upon arrival that we had another Muslim in the team. Even back in New Zealand, the last year that I was playing sport, I had a Muslim in the team as well, which one of the island brothers, Brother Offa, and it just makes it that much easier, you know. So, but generally, like Adil says, the boys are pretty good. They understand, and especially when they know you're serious about it, and they see that you're a man of value, a man of you know, good morals and all of that stuff. That's the best way to do dawah, I find. So, but it was awesome, bro. When your guys captain said that after the game in the press conference, we were all watching it. When I seen that, I said, "Oh." When he said that, I said, "There's no way New Zealand will beat them today." So you know what I mean? But
yeah, when he said that, I didn't expect him to say that, man. I thought just he'll keep it to himself. But for him to say that, like you say in the press conference and go viral, that's a massive thing for him. You know, it's a massive thing for everybody out there, Muslims and non-Muslims, because that's, like I said, that brings a communication between non-Muslims and Muslims together. Because like I said, sometimes as Muslims we can get, you know, a bit of a bad name. You know, just by saying that, hopefully it can get people together from different faiths, like you say, whether Christianity, Muslims, whatever faith, you know, we all can, you know, come to that common understanding and respect each other in that way. That's what it is.
Just let me just touch a bit on social media, because Sonny, you use it quite a lot more. You use it a bit, don't you? Instagram.
Yeah. Tell me. Sorry. Yeah.
But Adil, you don't use it at all, do you?
No, so
okay.
No Instagram.
So Sonny, when I asked you the question,
what are you saying, Brother Adil?
No Instagram, no Twitter. It's been a couple of years since I completely shut it off, man. It was, for me, it was a distraction at that time. There was a lot of just a distraction of general, you know, it could take over your life almost. If you look at things now, a lot of people are always on their phone, they're on Instagram, they're searching this, they're looking at this, you know, things maybe as Muslims or whatever we shouldn't be looking at. You know, you get distractions, you got everything coming in from there, you know, and Twitter as well. So that's, you know, I made that decision to, you know what, I don't need Instagram, don't need Twitter really. So since that happened, you know, my life definitely feels a lot freer. I don't even have to look at my phone, no distractions in that sense of social media, you know, in that life. So I'm grateful that actually I'm not even on social media in that sense. So that's a positive for me.
But Sonny, yourself, you use it quite a lot. You're always posting pictures of yourself, your family. Why do you think it's beneficial when someone like Adil thinks it's a distraction?
So I'm with Adil. I agree with the brother 100%. You know, I went through a phase where I deleted off my phone, deleted the app. I actually got rid of my Instagram account, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. But the thing I've come around and probably done a U-turn in it is that for me it's a way of making dawah and showing how proud I am as a Muslim. You know what I mean? Because for myself, I find I'm proud to be a Muslim, but I find there's a lot of brothers out and sisters out there that we've been taught to be embarrassed about Islam, you know. And what I've learned about Islam is beautiful. I want to share that, you know, and whether it be through the Quran or the Sunnah of the Prophet, peace be upon him, it's beautiful, you know what I mean? But it's a two-edged sword, you know. And for myself, what I do is I implement structures, especially with my phone, not just social media, that me and my wife, we have limited time on our phone in the morning, in the afternoon, maybe like 30 minutes in a 30-minute block in the afternoon. And then once the kids are down, then we'll do the posting. or whatever it is. But generally, if I post, I'll try and post and get off. So it's not about the likes, it's not about the connection. It's your message. You know what I mean? So it's a big hole that you can fall into when it comes to social media. But for me as a Muslim, I feel like the dawah that I can get out there and the benefits that I can get out there outweigh that, if that makes sense.
So what about the people that are tweeting you back, responding to you? Do you not respond back to them? Do you not check?
Yeah, so I'll have times where I get on, I'll post, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm going to reply to a few brothers. I might go in my private messages, and people will say, can you give me a message to my child? Or, I'll do a couple of those, and it's just about it's still connecting, but it's you. I feel like I'm owning my phone, and my phone's not owning me, if that makes sense.
More your thoughts?
Yeah, I think like Adil, because I was deleting my Instagram and Twitter and everything a year ago, because I felt this will strengthen my iman, and you would look at things you shouldn't do, and especially with me, like I just started everything. So but then I met one brother, maybe you know him or somebody of you. His name is Fatih Seferagic. He has a beautiful voice. Maybe you heard of him. Yeah. So I met him in Mecca. And then he said to me, brother, you should use Instagram as well because it's a way of dawah. And then I was thinking a bit of this. And then, I posted my first picture, I think 2 months ago when I've been in Umrah. So, I try to do it now like Sonny a little bit to use it as dawah. But still, like I said, I learn a lot now. And inshallah, I will just use it positive.
Yeah. Sonny, are you aware of Fatih Seferovic?
No, I haven't, brother.
Beautiful Kirat.
Yeah. I'll look him up after this, brother.
Look him up after. He's a Bosnian like our brother Muhammad.
Yes, Allah Akbar. Some strong brothers from Bosnia, bro. Very strong brothers.
Mashallah.
Adil, I'll start with you on this one. Have you seen anything in the news or people sending you stuff that's been inspiring from the Muslim community?
Especially like where we live in England, the Muslim community is very strong. Whether you're from up north, south, London, Leeds, Manchester, they're doing great jobs in getting together, especially at this time where the elderly and the most vulnerable, need their help. So like in Bradford here, there's loads of charity work going on where people from different faith backgrounds are coming together, whether you're Christian, Hindu, Muslim, they're all getting together and actually distributing food to those elderly and those vulnerable. So that's a big thing here. That gives, like I said, that's another dawah as well. Showing respect to general human beings, regardless of religion, regardless of color, faith. First and foremost, that's a must for any Muslim, is to show respect, to everybody, to all humankind. And that's a positive thing that England is doing, is charity work. They do a lot of charity work for Muslims. So a lot of credit goes out to all the Muslim organizations out there, charity work, that are helping not just the Muslims, but helping the non-Muslims, helping everybody, helping humans. So that's a positive thing.
Yeah, Mo, have you come across anything particularly inspiring?
Like the brother Adil, because I have a lot of Pakistan brothers, and maybe my Lahore as well, the restaurant. So and brother Ishaq and Mark and all his family, they're doing a lot of work. This is inspiring me. Like
your sound's cut off.
Is it now?
Yeah, okay. That's better.
Yeah, just start again.
Yeah, so I said about my Lahore. So my brother Maf and Ishfaq, I see them on Instagram a lot, and talk to them as well, how much work they do. It's inspiring me as well to do more in charity, inshallah. So this is the most what I learned in this time, to be fair.
What about you, Sonny?
Yeah, beautifully said, brothers. Shout out to the My Lahore team. The brothers are beautiful guys. They're doing some really good work in the community, and I think just it's always inspiring when you see, obviously, with the NHS on the front line, and there's always there's always Muslim charities helping out wherever they can, and it's always, when I see that, I always get really inspired, because that's the sunnah of the Prophet, peace be upon him. That's how he rolls, So
I've got two more. Have you got time? Has everyone got time, or does anyone need to go?
No, fine,
Be
brother.
free.
Fine.
Be good. Be free.
Okay. Sonny, we'll start with you. How do you cope with the fame of being a sporting icon and the eyes of the globe being on you whilst you're in action, being on TV all the time, people talking about you on social media all the time? How do you deal with that?
Just that mantra of always Alhamdulillah, always Alhamdulillah, and it's as simple as that. You know, for me, I used to live a life when I was just caught up in the materialistic things of this world, and that's all that mattered. Where now I strive as much as I can. You know, I have good days and I have bad days, but I strive. You know, there's 5 prayers a day, and I try and pray with my heart, and I try and get that connection, and because that's what I want. I want that happiness. You know, I want to look at my kids and be grateful. I want to look at my wife and be grateful. I want to look at the things that I've been blessed with and being able to help with my close ones and be grateful. So I think when you have that mindset, when it's here right now, focused on that point, then the rest of the world, the noise kind of just fades away.
Adil, coping with fame, people wanting selfies and autographs all the time?
I think a lot of it comes down to the individual and how they have been not brought up, but you know, the environment they're around and how they, like you said, if they humble themselves, if they, you know, if they just, you know, accept it is, or if they're a bit more outgoing or whatever. You know, like me personally, how I am as an individual is, I try to keep myself grounded. You know, accept everything. So if people are wanting pictures or whatever, you know, you have the pictures, you take the pictures and autographs or whatever, but it doesn't get me like.
Stop. You're on mute. Adil, you're on mute. Adil, hello?
Now.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so like you say, I try to stick in my bubble, try to remain humble, try to remain down to earth, regardless of how much fame one can get. You know, it's so easy to, if you get a bit of fame, to really go off the rails in that sense of, you know, losing your identity as a Muslim. And, you know, I'm sure we've all been through that phase as well, you know, where you get a bit of fame, you tend to, you know, maybe go off the rails a bit, but you got to recognize that very quickly to make a U-turn and get back, you know, to being a good Muslim, you know, worshipping Allah and getting closer in that way. So, like I say, I really try to, you know, keep myself grounded in that sense, by, you know, by reading my 5-time prayer, like Sonny said, reading that, getting closer to Allah, and really making sure that's your ultimate goal. And the rest, whatever comes, fame, money, whatever, it doesn't bother you whatsoever, because you've got a real focus and you're set to something that whatever comes in worldly life, it doesn't matter to you, because you're really stuck in one way. So that's what I try to do.
And more when maybe when you go back to Bosnia for an international match, and if fame bother you in any way?
To be fair, brother, I never had problems with the fame. My problem was always the money, you know, the materialistic, like Sonny said, you know, cars and, you know, the money, go here, go there, come back. But then, you know, you felt this emptiness in you. And, you know, I can show you the story when I bought my first, like, big car, we can say the Lamborghini. And then I was sitting in the car and I was thinking, and what now? You know, it just felt like empty. And after 2 weeks, it felt like I just drive any car. So, and this point on was a little bit my changing point, you know, where I thought like, it's not good, you know, like it's not enough for me. So I felt very empty. And then Alhamdulillah, now I'm praying and all this, and I can just cope much better with it now.
Cars, what else were you spending your money on?
Brother, just cars. Cars.
You bought a Bentley, didn't you?
I had like, to be fair, 14 cars in like 3 years or something like this. Like unbelievable, like subhanallah. But we always learn from these times, you know, and alhamdulillah, and change now. That's the most important.
Well,
I'll drop some cars off at my house, bro, if you want.
Yeah, brother, I would have.
What are you driving now then?
Brother, just a Vito. Mercedes Vito, that's it.
Oh, is
Nothing
it?
else. Yeah, just a big car, because I have now 3 kids and alhamdulillah, and a wife, so that's enough for me now.
Yeah. And just finally, Mo, starting with you, have you ever found that your job has ever clashed with your religious beliefs?
Brother, to be fair, in England is like, I feel so much respect from the English people. Like, I never had any problems. In Germany, it's a little bit different, you know. I feel like they don't respect you so much as a Muslim. That's why I'm already, 6 years here in England. And inshallah, I will stay here also for a long time because I just feel they respect us a lot. And I never had problems here, to be fair.
What in particular happened? Any incidents happened in Germany?
You know, you can just, it's a bit difficult to talk about. It's a long story, you know. It's like, I don't know how to say in English. They don't respect you so much, you know. You have to work double more, or you know what I mean? Like, I can't find the right words in English, to be fair, but I just feel the respect here in England is it's much more.
Yeah, Adil?
It can, obviously, it does come in the way. You know, sports can come in the way of your religion, especially, like say myself, you know, like now going to Hajj, doing Umrah. I feel as though, because a lot of time we play cricket in the summer, so which is from April to September, and in that time, that's when Hajj is, you know, in that time. So the past 15 years, you know, I've not had that opportunity to actually go to Hajj or make that, you know, trip, because I've always been playing sport. It's in season, so that's been a bit of a problem, should I say, or a bit of a down thing. Is doing Hajj, you know. But hopefully, like I say, inshallah, now my aim is to go Hajj next year, is to find a way around it. You know, like I said, taking 2 weeks off, taking a week off, that's my aim, hopefully, inshallah. So but generally, like I say, you know, being a Muslim, playing sports in England as a Muslim, you know, we've had it good.
What about your experiences around the world, Sonny?
I think, you know, I guess I'll put it this way. As a Muslim, when I see other Muslim sportsmen and they're proud of what they stand for and who they are, it makes me proud, because we all go through the same trials and tribulations. And the brothers know what I mean. You know what I mean? The brothers know what I mean, and that's just being real. But like I said, just have that mantra, always Alhamdulillah, we're Muslims, and it's all good, you know. And 95% of the people are generally pretty good, you know. 95% of the people are generally pretty good, because when you come to bring to the table your morals and what you bring as a Muslim, they understand it and they respect that. So, but I'm like Brother Muhammad. If someone disrespects me, it'll rub me up the wrong way too. You know what I mean? So.
That's great. Just one more. Mo's looking like got a fresh trim in lockdown. Sonny, what's going on with that hair? Let's have a look. Oh dear. Someone needs to take a trip to the barbers, doesn't he? Adil, you gotta take it up.
So it's all good.
Yeah. So just finally, what's the first thing you'll do once lockdown's over?
Say again?
What are you looking forward to the most when lockdown's over?
Brother, to be fair, just go to the mosque and pray. That's what I look forward to the most, to be fair. Inshallah will be soon.
Inshallah.
That's great. Yeah, thanks for your time on that, and I hope everyone enjoyed it, and I hope everyone you know, obviously learnt something new as well.
Inshallah.
So Jazakallah, and yeah, take care, everyone.
No problem. Assalamu alaikum, boys.
Nice to meet you, brothers.
You too. Nice to meet you guys. Inshallah, see you soon.
Okay, inshallah. Alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.